just seamlessly traverse into our second map, which will be Ascent. Obviously not the newest map in the pool, but competitively speaking, I guess you could say. And it is... I actually really like this map. I've got to say, it's definitely my top 2. I would say Bind is probably my favorite, and then it's Ascent.
I'm sure that will be nothing controversial in response from the community about those opinions. But hey, that's what makes it fun. We get to all have our things. We get to be bold, go out there. But yes, now we do get to see some Ascent action. It will indeed be 100 Thieves on the attacking side. And it is the exact comp I expected, other than Asuna taking up Reyna. He has been playing it a little bit recently. I would say he plays it about maybe a third of the time that he's played Ascent, he's played Reyna, because usually it's Phoenix like 66% or so. So it's not too crazy, but you know, it's a little bit different.
Cage triggered.
Down goes the utility. 100 Thieves trying to move into action, springing towards their adversaries. And Asuna already taking control. Market locked down. Stabbing and crashing down, axing through the door. But it will be post-plant. The spike already planted. And our HotThots need to get up close and personal with these classics, with these pistols. And make a real go at this. Now the utility really starts to drive in. Hot hand throws down, trying to cordon off areas. The dark cover's also been put into play. Dicey up close. Really, Ghost is just shredding through heads. And Hiko puts the final nail in the coffin. I thought that was going to be super chaotic with HotThots getting close, but that was absolutely wrong.
Yeah, the door was well and truly slammed in their face, literally and figuratively, in that round, as they will go ahead and suffer a loss early here. We are going to see Steel setting up his turret outside of B to kind of cover their flank side. They might be focusing a little bit more on mid control this time around, but they will leave Reyna kind of in that direction. It'll be Asuna, of course, on that agent. It's going to be a triple B play here on the eco from HotThots, so we could see some aggression here. Could see something interesting. Trying to use Breach's fault line to try to get a little bit aggro here. The Reyna is going to be there. Turret is shut down, but again, Asuna is in position. We'll be able to handle this no problem. Get some assistance as well from Nitro.
All the heals alongside 100 Thieves have Nitro coming in. Insta headshot onto KDS, and now only 2 remain. HotThots backs against the wall. The B site again is the one being aggressed on for the most part, but also do have Killjoy with Steel moving over onto A, just making sure this area of the map is completely clear. Leah tossed out from Asuna. Polarbear hearing bullets whizzing past his head, and now spots Asuna, who comes in for it 3K. He was pretty slow to start with Phoenix in the first map, so it's good to see him posting up big numbers already.
Yeah, again, Reyna's kind of been slowly coming into the meta. I mean, obviously, Scream made it very popular in the European scene. Tens was someone who adopted it pretty early on for Cloud9 in the NA region, but you're seeing more and more Reyna kind of come into the fold, and obviously a very powerful agent, especially if you can get rolling. If you can get frags, you can do so much with the invulnerability to gain information, kind of play one-and-done spots, but not for you because you're able to invulnerable your way out of it. So definitely, in combination with the Leers, can definitely really take a lot of space and be kind of a snowball-y type character once they get going.
The quintessential pub stomp agent for sure, but I have to see if we can get rolling. As you said, that snowball though is certainly picking up pace, and HotThots into the round do have themselves some weapons. Phantom in the hands of Ozzo, and KDS also able to pick up the rifle for himself. Asuna, a lot of map control already moving in towards the B side again, taking middle control. This is something you talked about before, Dust, that a lot of teams will give this entire angle up.
And there's a bit more of a smoke being used here by HotThots rather, to kind of try to deny at least access to market area, at least for now though. But that's a great shock dart. It's going to damage polarbear. It's going to put the pressure on him. He's calling for a rotation. Hiko and company continuing to keep that pressure on. Now a recon bolt comes in. They're trying to do a bit of a pinch on market here. Even Asuna coming through the lobby. He has been halted, at least, from that ramp position from KDS. But Nitro still does hold that forward positioning here. He's not quite the piece of just yet, but at least he does hold some territory, setting up a great paranoia that will be used to try to take control of this tree position, as a lot of his team is setting up outside this A side. There it comes. It won't quite hit the mark. Scoob with a nice little counter flash. Not quite going to land the mark, however, but he is buying a little bit more time for a rotation. He's getting some assistance now as well.
Time running dry, 12 seconds. 100 Thieves need to get in. Asuna able to heal up from that low HP before and then goes in for a second. They still get to get the plant down, but they're putting it in amongst the smokes. And Hiko goes in onto Tony. 2 kills came back in the blink of an eye. It all falls to Polar Bear on breach. We'll be throwing in the fault line. Dewey's really nothing apart from alert the entirety of 100 Thieves to his presence, and they do pick up a third, but they used each and every second allocated to them in that round.
It was methodical, though. I mean, they did a great job of pressuring that market and never really allowing HotThots to kind of know if it was going to be a B-split or not, so they couldn't really rotate. And that was a great little paranoia from Nitro to kind of help set up that take on that tree position. And while they were able to get a bit of a rotation in to defend against that kind of, you know, short A attack, I guess you could say, Asuna, you know, on that Reyna, able to just chain off a couple of kills and heals to really kind of clear the way. And so a pretty dominant round, though it was, like you said, a little bit pressure because of the clock. Still got the job done. And now we see some aggression on the share of Eco here from the HotThots. They do get into a lobby, but they are just getting absolutely rinsed. And Steel picks up a couple there with the Vandal.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, pretty brutal. Moving along to A main, but may not even be required because the entirety of HotThots have been dispatched with haste. They've been evaporated. Quick fire 4-0. What we expected, Dust, but
Sure.
a little bit more one-sided than the start of our previous map over on Haven.
Yeah, 3 guys yet to find a frag here on the HotThots. I'm kind of curious to see what they'll go for again. That Sova, Recon Bolts, wall spam combination can be used a bit towards B. Breach obviously has a lot of utility of flashes to set up aggressive type plays. Looks like he is setting up a fault line to perhaps go towards B Link and Omen there with the smoke. So they're setting up for a lot of mid aggression here, actually, Vince. This could be really dicey very early.
A main again being pressured on. Tony at least gets the first kill, only a 5th. As we move into round 5, but Dicey straight back using the smoke. The dark cover of Omen against him. Scoob already deciding, screw this, I'm just going to rush straight round the back and see if I can make something special happen with my teammate pushed up on the Heaven area. But they've already lost control over the site. That much has already been established. Now the spike gets planted. And HotThots in a position where they're all clumped together at the top of the site. Owl Drone will be spotting a couple of them. Steel waits, big headshot, but a great paranoia tossed in return. Shock dart on top of it will see Scoob off and keep the remainder of 100 thoughts. Oh, pardon me, HotThots.
That's a lot of thoughts, Vince. Maybe too many
thoughts.
thoughts. Yeah.
They need all 100 of them right now to take this side because they are being obliterated. And it's Hiko with a 4K. Yeah, they could do with 100 thoughts right about now. They're getting wrecked.
I guess that's one way to look at it, Vince. I mean, I'm not sure what type of, you know, evening you're trying to have, but I mean, to each their own, man. But 100 Thieves are having their way with the server. I can tell you that much. I like the idea from HotThots, like going for that mid aggression. We talked about that even before the game, that there are options for Omen to smoke off top middle. You know, you can use breach flashes and fault lines to pressure off of the catwalk and take duels at mid. The problem is they didn't really get that much from it. In fact, Dicey was able to play around the smoke and catch a kill on an aggressor B Link, and that left A site vulnerable. With in combination of the lockdown, 100 Thieves just really had their way with the site, and then good use of, you know, Omen's utility as well as the drones to really kind of stop that A Heaven retake in its tracks. And now Dicey here with the operator is going to pick up on that A aggression. Steel with the follow-up, so bodies are hitting the floor well and truly here from the HotThots.
Now 100 Thieves moving into position. Drone out to try and find some info. There's a chance for a brief moment the Polar Bear could maybe thread the Sheriff one tap, but instead it will be a flawless clean sweep round. 100 Thieves mixing it up, simultaneously just taking the entire map and making it theirs.
Well, now finally another chance for HotThots to put their best foot forward onto a full buy. Not going to have an operator, not even using the Jett obviously on their side, though there are still some other agents that can put the operator to use, and despite its nerfs, it could still be pretty useful defensively, but can't really spring for it obviously with that new high price of 5k credits. Not really going to lend itself when you're getting pummeled this much, even on the max loss bonus. Still not really wanting to do it. We are going to see again that B lobby aggression though, Vince.
You know, thinking about it, some decently placed utility though over on HotThots with it. Shock dart connecting Asuna. Get Scoob, who's all alone. The Empress has been sprung into action again. Starting to see some kills come the way of HotThots, but it's short-lived. It's only one. Tony making the most of it. Keeping himself in amongst the smoke. Polar Bear is opting for a potential flashpoint out onto the side, but all of his teammates have died. This utility will fall on deaf ears. His teammates can't move in. He's all alone. He's surrounded. And let's be honest, he will be 6 foot under momentarily. Runs out into the open and Steel dispatches him. The mercy is given.
Yeah, I actually thought that 100 Thieves were going to get thwarted a little bit there. I mean, the problem is when you're going for this B burst plays, yes, they have the Omen smokes for market and spawn, which is kind of the foundation that you have to build your B attacks on, but a lot of other teams are running breach to have those rapid fire flashes to really kind of clear angles and push players off. Reyna's leers are not as effective, which Asuna is playing. They can be shot down, and then you can kind of just retake the angle. And so I thought they were actually getting halted there. This is kind of one of the weaknesses of 100 Thieves comp when they're trying to go for those B bursts is that lack of flashing with no Phoenix or breach, but still just off of skill alone kind of able to really brute force their way through after that initial take didn't quite go as clean as maybe they were hoping for. And now KDS in a lot of trouble here with the Hunter's Fury coming out. Dicey using that to get in and get a couple of big entries, and this round's pretty much already by the wayside.
Yeah, slick take. The Hunter's Fury through the wall, and then they instantly pushed behind that with the aggression through on the tunnels. And really, you can just scratch another round up to 100 Thieves. Really, HotThots have never seemed like they're remotely in this map.
No, not really. I mean, again, I thought there were some chances in the previous round based on 100 Thieves comp and how they were attacking B that maybe they could have shut it down before they were able to get the space in the site, but it was just to no avail. And this round, again, didn't really have the firepower to work with. They were trying to save up for this moment now. Again, they're on that max loss bonus. They took kind of a lighter buy there, so they should be able to afford whatever they want in this round. I am surprised we've never really seen like the Sova Odin play that can be oh so popular on the B side of the map. Again, we've yet to see an operator out of them as well. These definitely a lot of long lane picking opportunities on this map defensively that we haven't really seen them try to go for. So it does feel like, other than some of the mid aggression and B lobby aggression that they've tried, which again, I applaud them for that. At least they're trying to change things up. It just hasn't really been as effective as they were hoping. And so, like, if your aggro plays aren't working and your standard isn't working, you're kind of running out of options.
To put it in context as to how one-sided this has been, collectively, HotThots have 9 kills between their 5 players. 100 Thieves have 2 over 11 just alone. One fun trade, one of the best starts we've had. Actually, this is now the best start the HotThots have had. KDS goes in on Asuna. Some aggression behind a bit of utility has yielded the advantage, but they desperately need to start converting dust.
Yeah, A is wide open, though. They're basically playing for a retake on the side. Again, they were really challenging that B lobby area with heavy numbers, which has left this side a little bit easier. The drone comes in to clear the tripwire, allows Dicey to come in there with the dash, clearing out the site and putting that spike down. But they will have a man advantage on this retake, and the Hunter's Fury does stall out the plant and tag the player.
It stalls it out, but there's still 50 seconds to go. It has allowed the rest of HotThots, though, to position themselves up on the heaven area. Ozo taking point as Polar Bear comes in. Flashpoint out, doesn't affect anybody. But it's not a post plant. Although Steel and Hiko have survived. With 33 seconds, they still need to come back onto the site, hopping off the spike cam. Steel with the first, a 2v4 falls upon them. Vision being impaired as they look to disintegrate the defenders over on A. 20 seconds, and this is where the lack of flashes and the lack of utility will sting. I'm not sure 100 Thieves can get this one done. They need entries, and they need them right now. 12 seconds, there's another flashbang, perfectly timed, and Scoob behind it could fall into the eyes of Steel. Down he falls. He did get a beautiful Sheriff one-tap onto KDS, which is going to hurt their economy, but they have got their first round.
Yeah, I feel like they got stalled out for so long because they were convinced that someone was still behind a double stack box in heaven, so they kept trying to spam it. They never actually got the vision that that player had actually departed that position, so I feel like they wasted a lot of time banking that they would get that frag, and it would give them a kind of a 2v3 take onto the site. And it just never really came to fruition. They didn't, again, catch that player rotate out of that spot. So, yeah, HotThots finally able to put something together. Again, they got the better end of the trade on that B lobby aggression, where they tried a couple of different times, but that time, in particular, they were able to be a little bit more efficient, and it led to a victory. As, again, they're trying to get a little bit aggro at middle once more with this double cat play, but the smoke has been put up by Nitro to deny that as he starts making some forward progress towards market position.
Even if the fault line had it connected, there wasn't really any follow-up in terms of players to crunch on top of the stunned and concussed players. Here comes the aftershock. Again, nothing really forthcoming. 100 Thieves already taking full middle control, with 2 hiding in the marketplace. Killjoy in steel, now being a real pain in the backside, forcing HotThots to peek out, protrude around the corner. Nitro takes off the head of polarbear, and now Steel on only 34 HP, trying to make moves. Tony deals with him and tries to go in for a second, taking tons of damage through the dark cover. And Scoob elsewhere is picking off players, so there is a chance that maybe HotThots can get their second.
Yeah, they've done a really good job adjusting to that lockdown, and while they had to lose control of market because of it, they were able to still entrench themselves on the site, and we haven't really been able to see 100 Thieves break through. Nitro does go good for one, but Ozo is really quick to respond, and he keeps that man advantage for his team here as Hiko and company using the shock dart try to clear out this backside. Scoob, though, steps out with the operator, leaving Nitro all by us lonesome here. He's being tagged up in the back. He's trying to use that smoke to try to push closer to that mark position to get the 1v1 with Cypher, but he's going to lose that duel, and that's a second in a row for the HotThots. And honestly, I think what that comes down to is, yeah, again, it's a good use of lockdown to ensure that you're controlling market and pizza position, but all the defenders have to do is just kind of play back towards spawn, play back towards back B, and they can still make sure the site is well and truly defended, and they just need to make sure they're not getting flanked through spawn. I don't know that that's as effective a use of a lockdown as 100 Thieves were hoping. It didn't really clear out the site, right? It just gave them that kind of mid-space that they basically already had when Nitro took control of it earlier on. They just didn't really get much more progress from it, I guess is my point. I think HotThots did a great job responding to it.
Tony has been really impressive to me, but hold that thought for a second as we're going to get hot and heavy straight off the bat. Leah tossed in, run it back, also depletes. But if information was called, and I didn't hear a rolling thunder thrown in amongst all of that as well. Seemed like a lot of utility and some ults were tossed into the mixes. HotThots trying to establish dominance outside of the A site. They do have the first pick, but now Steel coming in. Scoob takes him down. Headshot with the operator. Ozo Scoob goes in for another one. This is much better from HotThots. Now we're starting to see what these guys are capable of. They were eerily silent and suppressed to the early stages, but now they picked up 3 in a row.
Yeah, now HotThots are starting to get rolling. One more round left to go here to get things going. Interesting adjustments here from the HotThots. Again, I like the fact that they've never really let up, Vince. Like, they've been consistent with trying to push the issue, whether it be B-lobby aggression, fighting out in middle in the open, taking control of a lobby there, for instance, and just trading their hearts out. They're starting to show you some good stuff. Scoob and Tony, who were, you know, pretty solid fraggers in the first map, have been able to continue that forward here onto Ascent. As we get to the final round, 100 Thieves are looking to do something heavy-handed at A right off of the rip.
1-for-1 trade right off the bat, but it is Tony who feels like the main man on HotThots that has fallen alongside Steel. Now Asuna tries to pick up the mantle, going through on the catwalk area towards A again. We saw most of those early rounds mainly designated on B, but it seems that 100 Thieves have decided A is the side that they should be painting that bullseye on.
And Sova knows it now. Like, the enemy HotThots player is already droned outside B. He's able to call for his teammates to just go ahead and entrench themselves with their 3 players on A, and even Sova's now cheating through spawn. So they're going to be in great positions to deal with this attack, Vince. And that paranoia did not hit the mark. Polarbear is still safe on Heaven.
Curveball being lined up, tossed in from Phoenix. They look for the retake, but Dicey and Nitro are there to greet them with their Vandal and Phantom. But now polarbear, he's had a bit of a slow start in this best of 3, but he's stepping up from the ruins of potentially a 2-0 loss. Shock dart out. Nitro still standing with full HP, catching KDS out in the open. A one-on-one falls upon him. Flashpoint is good, masking the footsteps, but Nitro still holds his ground. He's no stranger to pressure, no stranger to clutches, and he comes out ahead one more time.
Yeah, and that just shows you the skill disparity there, I think, and the experience disparity playing competitive FPS. I think that HotThots did everything right. They used Sova's drone to essentially clear out B-side, allow them to get the early rotation. Polarbear was in for a couple of good ones there, and they just couldn't win that against Nitro. They had a 2v1 there. They were retaking together properly. They had Breach's flashes still in their possession, and they just could not find a way to force Nitro into an actual 2v1. He was able to pick his duels there, and he won out in the end, and that's going to give it a 9-3 half to the 100 Thieves as we kind of take a look here at our Goat Puff replays to kind of show you some of the highlights of that half. Shout out to them sponsoring the event. Talk a little bit about more of them later as we get into our pistol of the second half to see if 100 Thieves can go ahead and quickly put the series to a close.
Oh, Scoob, that's a big headshot partially through the wall onto Nitro. It springs 100 Thieves out into action, but it's only Scoob coming out with another 2. He's picked up a 3K. Putting himself in the shop window and saying, look, world, this is what I can do. This has been a phenomenal pistol round from Scoob, who goes flawless. He picks up a 4K, 100 Thieves on the back foot.
Momentum coming in here from HotThots. Obviously, that is just the pistol of the second half, but it's a good start here for them as they'll be able to get the Ares, get some SMGs in flow as well. We are going to see the full force up back from 100 Thieves, though. Dicey's going to get onto the Marshal right away. We see upgraded pistols and armor coming out, as well as utility being purchased, so 100 Thieves are going all the way in on this round, Vince. They're looking to challenge as best they can. They're going to use Killjoy's utility to kind of just anchor A, and they're going to look to get aggressive off the catwalk, it appears.
They tried to get aggressive last round, didn't work out for them. Fault line followed in from a curveball, and now Scoob comes in with the first kill again. He's not slowing down anytime soon, but now he's been derailed by Hiko. Shock dart out, tagging Polar Bear. Changes up his angles. Post plant falls into position as the spike goes down. And with 100 Thieves fully investing in this, being in a 3v4, I wonder if they do fully try to go in for this round, or if they keep their options available into the next. They have a vast lead. They don't need to rush into anything. They don't need to give these guns away.
No, I think that you just kind of roll this over into the next round and try it again, right? I mean, you basically just, you know, take your L here, maintain that Marshal, maintain some of the upgraded pistols, and just try to pose a threat in the next round. So they will have to concede this. The force didn't quite pay off. Again, that shows you the power of having the Phoenix flashes on those B burst type plays. Obviously, it was, you know, low firepower for 100 Thieves to defend with, but it can be so effective. But look at Nitro making this round expensive here. Gets all of them based off the spike explosion and his 2 share frags. That's a lot of rebuying HotThots have to do. And man, that is a little bit devastating considering how clean they won the round to have that happen at the end.
Bruh. It's going to cost them everything.
Yeah,
they have to go fully all in.
No. You do hate to see it. You really do. Unless you're a 100 Thieves fans. You love that then.
Maybe pick up 2 stingers.
Look at what it causes. It causes 100 Thieves to just say, we're going in. And I don't blame them. This is a great decision by them to just get heavy-handed with the rest of their credits and try to see if they can't really fully punish HotThots.
Run it back alongside the flashpoint. Curveball also tossed in. Plenty of utility disposed just to deal with Asuna's position, but they've done that in style. And again, keep in mind that 100 Thieves, they went all in on this round. They decided to pull the trigger. And now they may be pulling the plug on the life support machine that is their economy. They have to get out of here. Steel is up close. He's at least putting down some pressure and some damage. And with the frag onto Scoob, maybe they still come back in yet. A 3v4, all 3 of them are healthy. Meanwhile, Omen is feeling worse for wear. Ozo, at the back of the site, is anticipating that some nefarious means may be afoot, but Polar Bear holding it off. With a good fault line put into place, and it isolates both Hiko and the rest of his team, and he gets picked off. So the force buy, the aggression, does not work out for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, it's really just coming down to how well they're able to get Scoob into this B site and the duels he's taking against Asuna. Asuna's trying to counter with Leers and buy time for his teammates to set their flanks and rotations in, but the site takes themselves have just been a little bit too clean for 100 Thieves to truly handle. And now, as that did not work out with the heavy-handed buy of the Bulldogs trying to punish the economy of HotThots, they have to take a step back here with just the Sheriff. So while those guns can be very potent, it really opens the door for HotThots to start really and truly closing the gap on the scoreboard and actually making this game very interesting. They're doing a really good job on their offense right now. Again, they're showing you to strength those B-burst plays with those Phoenix flashes, as well as the breach flashes. They had so much flash potential, Vince. It's going to be really hard for 100T to handle the actual executes as long as HotThots are coordinating with how they use those flashes.
Especially as one of the main key aspects that we were talking about, which was individual skill and ability. It seems like HotThots have woken up and they have some real quick shooters on their team like Scoob. Playing with the Phoenix, just getting straight in the face. He got 4 in the pistol, but he's not slowing down. And as I speak of the man, he delivers again. He will get spotted by the drone, but it's too little too late as Asuna gets pummeled alongside Nitro. A successful 8 sites hit is incoming. Post plants, the spike goes down. Now, they haven't fully invested. They have sheriffs. There's worthwhile for 100 Thieves to try and see what they can get done and maybe be a bit cheeky in the process, but it's looking very good for a 9-7 scoreline.
Oh yeah, HotThots should be closing this one out. No problem in the 5-on-2 against these two sheriffs. Again, just really looking for exit frags. Hiko putting a recon ball out there, trying to see if he can get some information. Does spot a couple, trying to throw some spam down. Again, trying to make this round expensive at the very least. Dicey able to collect one soul there with his sheriff, and Hiko gonna join him in that count. Well, it's still 3 standing, and time ticked away so much. Again, the best he can do is make this round expensive, and only going to be the 2 rebuys coming out this time. So HotThots are starting to find a bit of pace here, Vince. They're starting to get their grounding on this attacking side. They've shown that they have very capable set pieces. They're making good use of the Breach Phoenix Flash combination. They have Tony for the smokes. They have good intel gathering capabilities with KDS and Ozo on the Sova and Cypher. This is kind of your perennial Ascent composition. This is kind of the more standard play. And you can see why it is that way. You can gain so much with this composition as far as map control and information. And they're making good use of it.
Which is maybe partially one of the reasons why when this kind of pick came into play and you saw that Asuna dropped the Phoenix for the Reyna, you were a little bit shocked. I mean, it's a character he can definitely play. It's an agent that he's certainly proficient with. But you do lack some of that utility. He has picked off the first kill, though. I'll hold the phones on that discussion for a few moments, and HotThots on the back foot, already making ground though, just walking out onto B.
Yeah, I mean, they left it wide open. It is just Steel playing here by himself. They were going for something aggressive on the A lobby side, and they did get the information that no one's there, so now they're pivoting back. But there was this little timing window that HotThots could maybe abuse, as they already are making headway through the sidewalk position. Steel, though, making great use of the Nano Swarm there, slowing down this attack, buying his time for his teammates to get into better position here. Now they're starting to fight back with Steel and company. Hiko, though, gets caught by Ozo, who pushes aggressively towards spawn. Steel just trapped in the site now in this 2-on-2.
Oh, that double kill is massive for Ozo. That could have crippled 100 Thieves, but instead it's Steel on the site with the Phantom. Double kill and a triple on top of it. 10-7. They have put a brief halt to that 4-round unbeaten streak. It was all the way of HotThots. Not a single round was picked up on the second half up until that moment.
Yeah, again, I think that's just kind of being smart. If you're going to leave a player to play by themselves, Steel is completely utilizing Killjoy's kit to its fullest potential, using the Nano Swarms and such to kind of buy time once they make that aggro push on one side of the map to be able to get them back in before the attack can well and truly set in. But also, Steel fragged his heart out there. I mean, it looked like Ozo was going to bust that wide open with that spawn take, but then Steel responded in kind and made that one a 100 Thieves victory instead, as we are going to see HotThots now taking full control of middle and pressuring that market position. Hiko just playing back from spawn. Again, they're just kind of giving this area up, and this is giving a lot of room for HotThots to work with here. They're also pressuring tree as well with their Omen.
One of the slower rounds that we've seen to date, though, Dust. It has been frenetic and chaotic for the bulk of our regulation, and here comes the Owl drone to have a quick look. Spots Phoenix round the corner. Information has been attained. What do 100 Thieves do with it, though? Tony hiding in the dark cover. Seeing if he can maybe get the first pick, but it's going to be Scoob again. Instantly traded back from Steel's perspective. Wall is put down along Scoob to just change up his angle to the other side instead. Try and catch off guard. And now
the split's well and truly on.
Deployed. Yep, the split is looking good. They're rushing onto the side. Last bastion of hope is Dicey. He had a phenomenal first map. Can he go huge here? 30 seconds to go. Dicey waiting patiently for the play to come in, but Ozo takes his head clean off. Hiko now with the Hunter's Fury is putting it down range, but hasn't really done too much. Nitro doing damage in the meanwhile with the Phantom, though, brings it back to a 3-on-3, but Hiko is so low on HP.
Indeed, he is. Nitro trying to approach here from market side, trying to choose his angles here. There's one player just below him. He now knows that the spam didn't quite work out. He catches Ozo pushing and knows where another is. This could really be harmful now for the HotThots, who now are going to see their last player isolated alone in the site.
KDS goes down. Pardon me, it wasn't Hiko that was low, it was KDS. Only 6 HP to his name. He gets picked off. A successful defuse of the spike comes in. And 100 Thieves take a 4-round lead, just too shy of progressing to the next stage of the qualifiers.
Yeah, Nitro just kind of blew up that bait and switch play with patience. He was able to take a quick step out. He got them to bite. saw that the gunfire was coming from that lower corner, and then just waited to see if someone was going to peek off of it at sidewalk, and he was absolutely correct and gets both those frags. That's just kind of the savvy of Nitro, right? A guy who's very experienced in those types of situations, coming over from Counter-Strike, you know, just being able to pick his battles, and that is a big win. It's 100 Thieves have now taken a couple in a row. They're finally putting a stop to some of HotThots' momentum, who are looking to get out in mid. Like, they had their Cypher, you know, kind of controlling B lobby. They do have one outside A, but they're really focusing on middle. In the meantime, though, we've seen Asuna be able to control wine position at long A, which frees up his teammates to put that pressure on Catwalk with multiple numbers.
All clumped up in middle are HotThots, now looking to try and pressure and pivot in towards Market and Pizza. And they've got there so far, but this is really only half the battle, only half the struggle.
Yeah, doing a good job pushing Steel off with that flash. Again, the problem is because they allowed Asuna to get control of Wine, this really freed up everyone else to rotate where they need to be to handle this type of mid-pressure. Now Dicey's even on the complete flank through Market. That's a good rolling thunder, but Nitro able to kind of teleport his way out of it for the most part. Now the lockdown's in play.
Oh, the lockdown! Certainly Steel slamming the door in the face of all of HotThots, gets the sledgehammer out and batters them. Blunt force trauma, triple spray. And now 5 match points come into play for 100 Thieves.
Well orchestrated there from 100 Thieves. Not only did they get the information with the A aggression, but they used to lock down the force HotThots' hand. They made them have to push there and then on B, and they already had the rotation in place to handle it. Steel lines up to spray down for a nice multi-frag round. And 100 Thieves have well and truly regathered themselves here. There was a good little run there from HotThots, you know, getting those 3 rounds towards the end of the first half, opening up strong here in the second. But now 100 Thieves are back in control. So we are going to see, you know, a pretty A-heavy attack to kick things off here from the HotThots. They do get Orb. They're setting up to try to take in this direction.
Cover going out.
Could be the final play of our best of 3. Steel, dark cupboards into the corner. This position will be safe, but it also does give up a lot of real estate elsewhere. Main being aggressed on. Hunter's Fury doing damage, finishing off Nitro. That's a huge scalp to take, and now they can start to spin and pivot out into the site, spilling into the face of all 100 Thieves. But Steel's position, which had gone unchecked, now comes back to sting against Scoob. He is changing up his angles. He's trying to get up close. He's trying to spray more down, but the Spectre will be his demise. KDS sprays in with the Phantom. Hiko has the right idea, just the wrong position. And he is now the last man standing. Gets hit by the shock dart. Oh, he sprayed down. It will be the way of 100 Thieves. They take it 13-7, and they move through into the next portion of the qualifiers.
Yeah, no surprise to see 100 Thieves take the series 2-0, considering the seeding and considering some of the name value that is on this 100 Thieves roster. A lot of people were excited to see them come out and play. And in their debut, they've done what